going on, guys? So if you're new here to the channel, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and enable notifications. That way you never miss out on any other content that we have here on the channel from the 1st to the 14th of the month, where we discuss Naruto lore as well as breaking news when it comes to the Boruto anime. So with that being said, though, if you're still here, I'm assuming you guys are all caught up with Sasuke Jinraiden, and on the off chance that the YouTube algorithm brought you here to the channel and you have no idea what Sasuke Jinraiden is, go to the home page, scroll down to the Naruto novel section, and click on the playlist that's titled Sasuke Jinraiden, and you'll be able to catch up and join in on these awesome conversations that we're having here. So with that being said, let's jump right into today's installment of Sasuke Jinraiden. So in today's edition of Sasuke Jinraiden, we're getting a very interesting glimpse into Sasuke Uchiha's mind state right now, and we're seeing once again how Sasuke is teeter-tottering back towards, I'm just gonna wake up and choose violence and destroy the Hidden Leaf Village. And the reason for it is that Sasuke has walked his way through the village and he's avoided the police because, as we covered in the video prior to this, the village that Sasuke's in does not allow for dangerous weapons. The other thing that this village is very keen on is people are not allowed to take the drugs that Itachi was taking, and the possession of those drugs is a capital offense. And so Sasuke's avoiding any type of detection, but he's also looking for intel and information. And the way that this transitions over to Sasuke wanting to choose violence against the Hidden Leaf Village is Sasuke has gotten into a position to where he's tracked down what could be some of the drugs that Itachi was taking, and as Sasuke finds the drugs, he pays the price in order to get them, and he buys them from a literal drug dealer. But what Sasuke notices about the man is that the man used to be a ninja, and what Sasuke finds fascinating is the fact that in this village there are a lot of people who used to be ninjas, but because this ninja village is no longer a ninja village and they're more so a village of merchants, a lot of the shinobi who used to be shinobi have resorted to peddling a lot of these drugs on the black market and taking those drugs to other parts of the ninja world in order to make their living. And if you're familiar with some of the videos I've done here on the channel, that's something that Konoha is going through right now, which is the fact that there are drugs that are being sold on that black market. And that was something that the former writer of the Boruto manga, Ukyo Kodachi, was setting up and was talking about in his blurbs here right at the end of the Boruto manga volumes. But the reason why I bring this up is the fact that in this video, what you're going to see is that Sasuke has a moment where he wishes this very fate onto the Hidden Leaf Village. He wants a world where ninjas inside of Konoha, if he doesn't destroy the village, he wants them to be able to suffer. He wants them to not have any type of purpose, and he wants the people who are ninjas to be addicted to these very same drugs. Now, another fascinating thing that goes on here is the fact that as Sasuke's buying the drugs, he's using his Sharingan, and his Sharingan's able to see chakra as a color. And what he ends up finding out is that there are dead bodies all around the river, and the dead bodies have had the chakra sucked out of their bodies. They're just corpses with no chakra. And Sasuke immediately looks at this and says that this is the work of some kind of a shinobi. And this should make you think about the anime original scene where when Yahiko died and Nagato used his Rinnegan and summoned the outer path, and how that huge dragon was just ripping out the souls of the people. The bodies of these people inside of this village have a very similar appearance. And so Sasuke is immediately on guard, but Sasuke is lost in his desire to see Konoha crushed, that he's pushed that to the background of his mind. And what's very fascinating about this is that we see the early stages of Sasuke's state of mind, where he's come to the very conclusion that he had when he was telling Naruto what his vision for the world is. And what this is showing us is that Sasuke, on a certain level, has always had those thoughts about wanting to dismantle the ninja village system, and it's because of everything that Itachi's been through. So with the scene in the context finally being set, is here I'm going to begin reading the passage from the novel, and then I'll come back to you guys with my thoughts. And it's here I'm going to begin quoting. Shinobi countries, their lives were no more threatened by dangerous tasks and enemies that didn't target the village anymore. But what happened to shinobi? Some of them managed to enter the defense forces, but what had become of the others? Nothing was more insufferable than a ninja without duties. In a village that gave so much credit to the trading market, the ones who had piled up lots of money were considered to be worthy people. confined in a corner of society where ninja were just treated as stray dogs, despite they had dirtied their hands for the village's well-being. That's why they started selling the hypnotic illusionary medicine. Who could say the same thing would not happen to the Hidden Leaf Village? At that thought, I suddenly felt like laughing. One day, the leaf must face the same fate. A reckless invention or the discovery of a most valuable resource could upset that balance. This way, the society in which shinobi were very influential people would crumble in an instant. The divine protector of the village wouldn't even be the Hokage anymore, but it would be money, and guys like Naruto would live without being able to fight with anyone. A Naruto that can't fight with anyone, that's rich. I burst out laughing. Ninja had no other use. Since there was no one around me, I let myself laugh loud in laughter. A dog, maybe scared by the noise, barked in the distance. As long as the shinobi world kept existing, probably a second or a third Itachi will appear. With the valid reason of protecting the village, there will always be someone forced to sacrifice himself. Was it really worth going that far? In the end, what distinguished the least way of doing things from Madara's? And where was I heading? I resumed my journey towards the Kodan shrine. I met a mother with her little daughter along the way. The child was holding the woman's hand and pointed to me and said, "Hey mom, that boy looks sick. Is he wounded?" The girl said. The moment she raised her eyes, the woman suddenly yanked her daughter's hand and she walked off at a quick pace. Sick, me. And yet, I felt so good at the thought of destroying the leaf. While the autumn breeze enfolded my body, I stopped and lowered my gaze to my shadow. After staring at it for a while, I had the feeling I had become my shadow, and my shadow had become me. It might be that the little girl from before was a demon. She tried to tell me that my hatred towards the leaf wasn't deep enough yet. End quote. So this right here, this is so rich. So obviously we have Sasuke and he's thinking about the ninja village system and how it needs to be dismantled, but he hasn't quite made the connections. He's still in that moment of headspace where he's like, I got no love for Konoha. These guys are catching a Matarasu on sight. I'm about to kick Sakura in the face. I'm about to poison Naruto's Ichiraku ramen bowl. I'm about to burn all of Kakashi's makeout tactics. I'm about to destroy this whole village and I don't give a damn who catches feelings over it. Well, on the other side of this though, is that we see how the outside world is reacting to Sasuke. And that's the thing you have to kind of keep in mind when it comes to stories that are narrated by someone speaking in a first person manner, because you really get an idea of how other people in the world see them. And so that's where the reliability of the narrator comes in, because what we're seeing right here is that Sasuke is being fed the answers to a lot of the questions, but he's rejecting the answers that he's being given. Just as a reminder, we're going through 3 stages right here. You have the first mountain that is called the Wolf's Awakening, which is Sasuke, where Sasuke is finding out the truth about Itachi. You have the second mountain, which is where we're at currently symbolically, which is Sasuke being in a situation where he's getting the wolf's nourishment. And then you have the mountain that is called the Mountain of the Wolf's Cry. And right now, Sasuke's getting the nourishment from those answers to all of his concerns about Itachi. The thing that he's finding out is the fact that the further he sees signs that Itachi would have wanted him to protect the village, the further he's being descending into madness. Every single person that's seen Sasuke, they've either looked at him as a junkie. People have remarked on the fact that it looks like he hasn't slept in days. Sasuke's walking around with black circles under his eyes. Sasuke's someone who's clearly been in mourning, and he's someone who's been haunted by visions of his brother, dreams of destroying his village. Sasuke is grappling at this point, and in that moment when Sasuke embraces his madness and begins to start laughing, that's when Sasuke meets that little girl, and instead of saying, well, damn, this little girl thinks that I'm sick, she's asking her mother, is everything okay? Instead of looking in the mirror at himself, he looks down at his shadow, and he's not able to distinguish himself from his shadow, and he says that the little girl is a demon, and he tries to use that as a way to say that she's trying to tell him that the hatred he feels for Konoha isn't deep enough yet. And so now we're seeing Sasuke slowly descending into madness. All of a sudden, Sasuke's gone from first gear to second gear, and we're in a 4-speed car, so we're halfway there at this point. So I love this little tidbit right here, because what we're seeing is that Sasuke has drawn a direct line to the source of his hatred, which is the Hidden Leaf Village benefiting from Itachi's sacrifice. And just as Obito told him in the cave, hatred is different than justice. Justice is something that's ambiguous. Hatred is something that you can direct at something. You can focus it on something. Well, what Sasuke's done is he's taken his grief and he's focused his hatred onto Hidden Leaf Village. And in particular, he's already begun to single out Naruto. If you go back to his internal monologue, he says, what good is somebody like Naruto who can't fight? What good is a ninja who isn't able to be a tool for the village and fight? He wants the worst possible outcome for Naruto, which is Naruto's dream is to become Hokage. Sasuke wants drugs or some new invention or a valuable resource to be discovered to where the Hokage is no longer positioned. He hates Naruto so badly right now that he doesn't want Naruto's dream to come true. That's the one way that he's able to inflict enough hurt on Naruto to where Naruto might be able to understand his pain just a little bit. Sasuke is lashing out much in the same way that a lot of hurt people do. They lash out and they don't realize why they're lashing out, but on a certain level, they're using the information that they have about you in order to do the most effective damage against you. And so we're seeing Sasuke turn that corner and go further and further into his madness. And we also see Sasuke right now going through several stages of grief. And so that's what I really love about this novel right here. So my question to you guys is, in hindsight, how do you feel about Sasuke saying that he wishes that the Hidden Leaf Village would be in a situation where the Hokage no longer exists, and Sasuke saying he wants to disrupt the shinobi system itself? And the second question I have is, what do you think could have been done to reach Sasuke at this point? Or is Sasuke truly too far gone? Has he stepped too far into the madness? Let me know down in the comment section below. As always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.